Alright, good afternoon everyone. Today is Wednesday, the 7th day of January 2026. Lots of stuff to go over today. We'll just jump right into it. You guys all know that I've been working on the swing bands for about a month and a half now. I've been working on them, trying to get them just right. And I'm still working on them, but I also, in the process of working on them, I found something else that was intriguing and that I think is worth, I thought was worth exploring. And that is the mid-band stuff that you guys have seen. You've seen all the emails about and all that. And I am going to show you, I released it to you last night. Maybe it was this morning, like 3 o'clock in the morning. But I will show you all the stuff about that in just a moment. Let me just make sure that doesn't happen again. Okay, there we go. Alright, so let me just take it off the charts here. Okay, and you'll note that right now I have the trigger down there at the bottom too. And I'll explain all that in just a minute. Okay, I don't really have to take it off all of them, but I guess I will. Alright, so here's your chart, right? Just any old chart. We'll use the ES. So I'm going to use the crude. I have the crude on a 4-range chart here. Alright, so let me just put it on the right 4-range chart. Put it on. This is a new thing that they have. That TradingView has. They put this little drop down on this side. It used to be over here on this side, but they switched it to this side. So now you go in here and you find the right one that way. And this is the correct symbol for the crude we should be trading. So all you have to do is go here. Now this is a new version, alright? That version came out whatever it was this morning, around 2 o'clock in the morning, something like that is when I created that version. So if you have a version on your charts right now, you can remove it and just add this one on, which I just clicked one time and added it on. Now you see when you add it on, I want to get rid of this thing right here. There, okay. When you add it on, it doesn't have the G line, that one fast line that moves up and down within it. I made that a separate thing to add on manually. Okay, when you add it on like this, it doesn't add on with the repainted version either. It's the endpoint version. Okay, because the repainted version, you can't go back and look at the history on the repainted version because it shifts all over the place. You can trade live with it just fine. It's perfect trading live. This is the repainted version right here. You got to check this box here, repainted. Okay, and this is the repainted version, and this works great live. All the indications are perfect live. But if you were to scroll back and look at it 10 minutes from now, like I'll take a picture of this right now, and then we can come back and look at it. Well, crude oil isn't really moving that much right now, but if I were to do it with a different symbol, like let's just make this the ES really quick. Okay, and I'll take a picture of the ES right now. We'll come look at this again in 10 minutes, and I'll be able to explain exactly what I mean by the repainting. Okay, the ES4 range, by the way, works great with this. Okay, see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trades in a row right there, and you only need one of those. You need one of those. Okay, now let me flip back to crude oil. Okay, I just wanted to take a picture of this so you could see it, because crude oil is not really moving. So when I come back, you'll have more of an effect to see it when it's actually moved around a little bit in a little while. All right. So Masood, you might be talking about. I'm going to put it back to the endpoint version like this. Okay, and you might be talking about that line right there. Right? Is that the one you're talking about, Masood? This thing right here. Again, it's all inside the TV Trades Swing Band right here. Okay, you're talking about, I don't know what you're talking about. It's not there. It should be there. It should be there. But you mean it's not showing up under your indicators? When you go to indicators, it's not in here. Is that what you mean? Refresh your charts. Okay, go up here and click on this thing right here. Refresh. It should be in there. If it was ever in there, it should be in there now. Okay. Yes, you're all going to have to do that. You're all going to have to refresh your charts. You go up here and hit reload. Okay, if I save this and I hit reload on it right now, you're all going to have to do that. Okay. To get the latest version that is in here. And there's a lot of differences between this one and the prior version. If you look inside this, this is what Wayne was just asking me about earlier. These things are all the same. Okay, these things right here are all the same, but this right here is this line. Now the mid bands, if you want to see the mid bands, you turn them on like that. And now you can see with the mid bands, it has color to really show you a trend. You know, when a trend starts to change and whatnot, what direction you should be trading in. But it also has, see, there's a subtle change in the bar color right there. These purple ones right there, and well, there aren't that many on the short side. Here's one right here, purple one right there, purple one right there, purple one right there, purple one there. Those are all trades that you can take off the mid band. Right now, you can take any trade that you want. You can have your own. You can have your own rules about trading the mid band if you want to. But what I'm suggesting is when the mid band's blue like that, that means that this one, there's a faster and a slower band on there. That means that it's starting to trend up. And this happens when the open is below it and the close is above it, and you come out of the oversold at the same time on the trigger. Okay? So that would be an entry right there. That would be an entry right there. That would be an entry right there. On the short side, I have it set to purple, okay? But that would be an entry right there. That would be an entry right there. That would be an entry right there. I mean, all those are great trades. All of those are great trades. That one right there. That one was not such a great trade. But that one right there. You see, it's... Now, I did this because what I was searching for was a way to prevent these kind of stop outs. When you get into a strong trend, you know, like this one right here, when you get into a strong trend, every now and then, you're going to have one or even two of these in a row where it'll stop you out. And I was searching for a way to minimize that for you, right? Is purple always a short and white along on the mid trades? No, Jacob. The purple is the color for the trade, all right? Now, it's going to be a long if it closes at the top. It's going to be a short if it closes at the bottom. But the purple is the color that I chose for the trade. You can go in here and change that if you want to. It's on this side, right here, right here. Bar color. You would change it right here. You can change it to orange if you want. I think I just changed it to orange. Where's one? Yeah, it's right here. You can hardly see it. You can change it to white if you want. The other one is white. I'm going to show you the other one in a minute, but you can change it to black if you want. I originally had it black, but then I have my current bar is black also, so it didn't jump out as much as I wanted it to. In hindsight, you can see it jumps out, but in real time, it doesn't jump out as much as you want it to. Everything else is, well, green and red, so you could make it blue, and that would jump out pretty well too. See how blue is right there? So you can make it whatever color you want, but the trigger bar is the one that's the color. If the bands are red, you're going to be looking to sell, and if the bands are blue, you're going to be looking to buy. Okay, it's as simple as that. Okay, and the reason I did this is because the black arrows, the arrows outside the bands, the TVT Swing Band trades, are typically counter-trend trades. They happen at the end of the trend, or the beginning of the next trend is when they happen. Okay, the end of the current trend or the beginning of the next trend is when they usually happen. They're not trend trades. usually. Okay, you get one every now and then like this. This wasn't outside the band, but if it were outside the band, you get one like that every now and then. That is a trend trade, but usually they're counter trend like these right here. You're in downtrend, obviously, and you're getting trades to go long there. So what I was looking for was a way for you to keep just the one thing on your chart right here and be able to trade with the trend while you're waiting, because it can be a long time between this one and, well, sometimes a long time between this one and say this one, or this one and this one. It can be a while, for me anyway. This is like a half an hour between here and here. That's a long time for me. But so basically what I wanted to show you is just another way that you can get into the markets. Now you can create your own formula for trading off the mid bands if you want to. I'm just showing you something that's pretty simple, pretty straightforward, and easy to do, that I've already coded for you. Alright, now I know you guys are gonna see instances where, like this one right here for instance, where it didn't give you the colored bar. I'm gonna switch that back to purple. It stands out just a little bit more to me. That's purple. Okay, where it didn't give you the colored bar right here, but it was all the way down here below. It did pull out of the oversold right here, and it seemed like a good place for it to trade, right? But yeah, you would open for the short, you would sell the open of the next bar, and for the long you would buy the open of the next bar. Wait till the bar closes and then buy the open of the next bar. Okay. I mean, you can put the order on ahead of time if you want to, but basically with this right here, looking for the open to be below and the close to be above, and then you buy the open of the next bar. Okay, close below, the open above. The open below and the close above, and you buy the open of the next bar. You can put a buy stop limit order on ahead of time if you want to do that, Wayne. But I just wanted to show you that that's the idea behind it. Like this one right here. Oh crap! I should be trading right now too. What is this, crude oil? Well, crude oil is not really moving around all that much, so I might still be able to put something on in there. No, it's, well, anyway, this was a trade right here. Now these trades here are still awesome. These trades are great. All right, and these are still the primary trade for the TVT swing trade, the swing bands. But I wanted to give you guys another opportunity to get in there and make some money in between those. Okay, or if you just like trading with the trend, then this is a way for you to trade with the trend. All right. Now, what should you expect out of one of these trades? Well, when you get an entry like this, you should expect it to get to the outer band. Every time you should at least expect it to get to the outer band. If it doesn't make it to the outer band, I would be suspect of any follow-up trade that happens in the same direction. Okay? Just something to consider, something to think about. Yes, I was telling you about this right here. This scenario right here, this little thing right here. Let me put a little circle on it for you. This one. There. Can't miss that. That guy right there. Came out of the oversold. It's clearly below there. It's looking like you should have an opportunity in here. It's in between the bands in here, so it's not going to trigger one of the black arrows because it's in between the bands. It's not outside the band. I mean, it still could trigger a black arrow even being in between the band, but it didn't give you any gray arrows, so it's not going to trigger any black arrow there. You can still, I wrote into this if you want to, right here, the intra mid-band bars. So this is intra mid-band bars. This is the spot in between here and here, or in between there and there. I created that if you want to be notified, if you want to see it on the chart when you get that. I mean, you can see it anyway, but I know a lot of times, I know when I see things like that, I have all the stuff that I'm thinking of that's going through my head that says, okay, well, this is probably still going to be a decent trade anyway. I created that so you can see that those are probably not too bad places to trade anyway. I mean, I don't want you to get in there and start over trading, but you can see that that's going to work out most of the time too. And a lot of times you'll get it with a black arrow on the inside like that. And if you do get it with a black arrow on the inside like that, then those tend to work out really well too. Alright, you can go back and look at them all, but if you do get them on the inside, the black arrows that are not on the outside of the band, you get a black arrow on the inside, but it happens to have the white with it, those tend to work out really well. Every now and then you'll get one that's got it from the outside of the band as well, but I just wanted to point that out to you. Alright, when I started looking at this stuff, I had a feeling it was gonna, well, I don't know how to, I had a feeling it was gonna come around to stuff that is gonna give you similar trades to the stuff that I already have, but ultimately, what is my goal here? It's to make it easier for you to find the best spot to enter. And a lot of times the math that I do, it might be different math that I come up with to create this stuff, and it might be a simpler way for you to see it because I've used a different way to develop the math. But ultimately, you're going to be looking for the same thing, right? So, I mean, if you go in here and you look at something like, we'll put the sniper on here. Wait till you see this. Look at all these things from the sniper that happen to be right off the midband. Okay, you see all those things from the sniper that happen to be right off the midband. Now, that sniper is completely different math that I use to create those things. But it does use the trigger. And there's another thing within the sniper that has to do directly with the trigger. Okay, so if I start involving the trigger, then things are gonna overlap. The different signals are gonna overlap. Now, I just wanted to point that out to you. That is something that you're gonna see. I'm trying to give you the easiest, most obvious solution that is most accurate solution if you're trading. So, adding the midband to the TVT Swing Bands, the outer arrows like that, the arrows outside the bands like that, gives you guys just a ton more opportunity to have trades. Now, I'm not saying you should take every single trade. I'm not saying you should trade 100 times a day, but it's just more opportunity for you to get in there and make some money. Because these are typically a counter trend, and you might get one of those and then be a half an hour and you get another one like that. All right, but in between here, you have a whole bunch more opportunities to trade if you want to. Okay, so this is the white ones that I created right here, the intra bar midbands. Intra midband bars, and these are the midbands right here. Okay, now Chris, I know you just walked in, so by default, when you add the new TVT Swing Bands, this is the newest version. When you turn that on, this is what it looks like. All right, it's got the non-repainted. It's got the endpoint version, non-repainted version on by default. If you want the repainted, this one, then just turn it on. Okay, and you can turn the repainted on. But by default, I have this version on because then you can go back and look at prior trades and stuff like that. You can't go back and look at prior trades with the repainted because it moves around, it shifts around on you. But with this one, you can. Okay, and I don't know if you guys remember it. I don't know how many of you made it to the last meeting when I put this change in. By default, you have the endpoint. The repainting smoothing is off, so you have the endpoint version, and it uses this number here for the endpoint version. And when you turn this on, it uses this number for the repainted version. So if you shifted this around in the past, this is the one that's going to work for the repainted version. You see how it shifted it? I like to have that set to 2.1. You guys may have played around with it and found something that works better for you. I know I have some guys that are using this on Forex, on a much larger time frame on the Forex, and they like it on the Forex, and I'm sure they've shifted these things around some. But if you're doing the repainting, then this is the one that works on the repainting. If you uncheck that and you're doing the endpoint, this is the one that works on the endpoint. You see. And I like this at 1.8 for the endpoint. So that's the default. Okay. The G line, the normal blue line, that fast line that moves around in here, that I had suggested you have a hook through. If you have a stop out, your next trade should have a hook through it before you take another trade through that in the outer band. That is still there. You just have to turn it on now. You have to turn it on like that. All right, it's still available to you. Just got to turn it on. The mid bands, you got to check that to turn on the mid bands. And when you turn on the mid bands, again by default it turns on these purple arrows that suggest places to take trades. You would take a trade at the open of the bar after it. Alright, if you're coming out of the oversold, you're going to be buying the open of the bar after it. If you're coming out of the overbought, like this one, you're going to be selling the open of the bar after. Okay, right here, be selling the open of the bar after it. You can see these coming ahead of time because the open is going to be on one side of the mid-band and the close is going to be on the other, and you're going to be coming out of, crossing either out of overbought or oversold in your trigger. Okay? So I just summed it all up again. Everything that I just said it again because I know some people are just getting in here right now. Can you change the mid-band colors too? Yes, you can. You can change those too, Jeff. Jeff. No, it wasn't Jeff. It was John that said that. Sorry, Jeff had something right above you. Those colors are right here. These are the mid-band colors right here. Okay. Color 1 and 2 are the ones that you're really interested in. Alright, you can change that to black if you want. See how that just changed that one to black. You change it back to blue or whatever color you want it to be, but you got to do both. Alright, the G line is the slower of the two, and the G line comp, I think the G line is the slower of the two. It might be the faster. Actually, no, it's the faster. The G line is the faster of the two, and the G line comp, G midline, and the G midline comp is is the slower of the two. But if you want to change those colors, you change them right there. Okay. So they were blue and red. And it's going to be this one and this one that you change. These two in the middle right here. I'm going to put proper names in there for them at some point. But that's it. You don't get the white and purple bars, Gary, then you don't have the latest version. Okay. Were you able to check this box right here? Showed mid-bands. Okay. What's your background color? Gary, is your background color black? For some reason I think it's black. It's white. Okay, well, I don't know, send me a picture. Send me a picture of everything that you have set up in here and on this side. Okay, and I'll be able to better show you that. And what's the intra bar mid-band for? How I explained that. Did you get my explanation for that? Is to capture bars like this one right here, where it comes out of the oversold, but the mid-bands are still showing you're in an uptrend. Okay, mid-bands are still showing you're in an uptrend, and you come out of the oversold, and you're not touching the mid-band. So you're below the mid-band, but you're in this range right here, the intra mid-band range. Not on the mid-band, but you're between the mid-bands. Mid-band and the outer band. That's what that's for. Okay, Jacob. Hang on. Jacob, let me move this. It's scrolled all over on me. Chris, I think I answered your questions, right? You clicked update, you sent somebody to not see the range here. You can just take, first you got to hit refresh your charts. Alright, refresh that right up there, and then if you hover over this and you have a little purple circle right there, you have a purple circle, that means you don't have the latest version. Click on that little purple circle and you can do an update to all of them right in there if you want to. Okay, and Intra bar trigger again. Jacob, what's the hook you're looking for after a stop out? Okay, Jacob, I just said that, but I'll say it again in a minute. I'm just seeing your question up there right now. And let me go down to the bottom. Gary, did you send me a picture? You can send it to me in Telegram, or you can text it to my phone, or you can email it to me. Copy and paste. What did I copy and paste? What is the skid file in TV Trades and Telegram? The skid file in TV Trades. that is actually the DOM file. Okay, if you go in here and Sierra chart and data, the SCID file, this right here, is your DOM. And this is the one that actually contains the data. Like my Apple's got, it's a 7 gigabyte file there for Apple. But like the EPZ, because the Z contract had been running for 3 months, it's got all the data within it. Okay, so like right now the EP or the ES has only been, we've only been in the H contract for a short period of time, so the data that it's got stored in there is pretty small so far. So all these things in here, I could stick out in Telegram, and you could grab them right now. I could put them all in an email, and you could grab them. But that's what the SCID file is, Paul. Okay, that is the data behind the DOM, right? The actual DOM. I stuck one out in Telegram the other day. Let me just see. In Telegram, inside the TV trades folder here, I had a couple of instances in the last week where I had to help people doing an install of Sierra, right? The Sierra DOMs and all that stuff. If you go to December 27th, right here, I did a step-by-step of the install, all the things you have to do. And I put a list of files in here for you, but none of those are the SCID file. I did add one SCID file down here at the very bottom. The SCID file for the NQ. That's my H contract NQ SCID file. But if you open up this chart book, it has all the DOMs all set up for you anyway already. Okay, and these are the brackets that I use for the 7, 9, and 19 range. I included that in there, so you can download all that from right there. And when you do download that, this is where it goes. You see Sierra chart data folder, that one I was just looking in a second ago, right here. See Sierra chart data. That's where those files go. Okay, so if any of you guys want to do Sierra, it's a pain in the neck to set up, but it's great once you have it set up. But it really is a pain in the neck to set up, and it costs $100 a month total. All right, so like right here, right now. See, this is crude oil. Crude oil is just crawling along right now. It doesn't, crude oil. The market hours generally on crude are 9 to 2 are the market hours on crude. Okay. Why do you need the SCID files? The SCID files, SID, are where the data for the DOM gets stored. When you have a DOM set up, like this. It has data that's stored with it, and that's just how Sierra does it. Okay, do you need the data? Well, yeah, I think you do. I mean, it's going to be regaining it every time. If you don't go and get it, it's going to re-get it for you every time. So I think it's probably more efficient the way that they do it. And Jeff said, are the two blue lines in the middle, hang on, that scrolled up, similar to the mid? They're similar to it, but they're a little more dynamic, Jeff. Okay, if you were to put that on, see, they're similar to it, but they're a little more dynamic. These are not based on, they don't move around, these don't move around based on this coming out of or going into overbought or oversold. Alright, you see there's no background color associated with this or anything like that. Now that is something else that I did want to get into, though. I'm glad you asked, because that is something else that I wanted to get into with you guys. On your YM dime, you try to shrink it. It makes your left columns quantity shrink rather than the buy shrinking columns. Do you know how to make it shrink like the other markets shrink? Are you talking about when you try to crunch it up like that? It just makes all the things crunch up on top of each other, like that. That's what you mean? I don't know. I mean, I just leave mine all spread out. It's easier for me to leave it spread out and actually see the stuff anyway. So I can get in there and see something like that number right there. I know price wants to get to that number. That number right there. I know price wants to get to that number. That's the value of having the thing. Make it more narrow. I don't really know. I mean, you can grab it over here and make it wider and thinner. But you can play around with that. I don't really know anything about that. You can go out on YouTube and look at videos on that too. When you have something like this where it's way out of view, you can double left click right on price like that, and it'll auto center it for you. Okay. Alright, the crude oil had that purple arrow right there. The purple bar, sorry. So the crude stop, it's got to go one more tick for it to go to break even automatically. It's got to get up here to 29 for it to go to break even automatically. But you can see it's at the outer band right now, so I'm just going to bump it. Well, so Blake, right now if I hit move stop to break even, it'll move the stop to break even. Okay. Now, typically I have it go to 5 ticks before I move it to break even, but we're at the outer band right now, so it's gotten to the point where it should get to. So I'm actually just going to lock in one little tick on this, because that's $100 with 10 contracts on. And crude oil's not really moving all that much right now anyway. Alright. So that's our first trade off the mid-band in any of these sessions. So I'd like to make it be a little bit profitable anyway. And it is right now. It's got 1 tick profit in it. But that was from right here. Alright. I had a little slippage on it. But it slipped me 1 tick when I bought it. My buy stop was at 23 and it put me in at 24. Alright. That was a lot of stuff. A lot of words. So again, all you have to do, make sure you've refreshed your charts. Alright. Make sure that you have refreshed your charts. That means you go over here and you hit this thing that says refresh. Now, the crude is still going here, guys, so I'm gonna lock in a little bit more on it. It's 200. It should get up above this level right here. It should get up above 32 if it's going to continue the trend. Alright. And it wasn't the black arrow in the mid-band that I took right there, but the black arrow happened to be on top of the purple. So that just, like I said earlier, when you have the black arrow that's on top of the purple or a white, those tend to work out really well whenever you get them. I was going to talk about the background color. Thanks, Sean. Yes, the background color. So the way that the black arrows work, the outer band, those are usually counter trends. So if you go in here and you put TV trades on, we'll say, alright, and I don't want to have a whole bunch of arrows all over the place, so I'm just going to shut off the arrows for TV trades. Okay, and you have the background color. Now the background color in here is usually not going to be in sync with the outer band arrows. Alright, like it's saying short in here and the outer band arrows here are all underneath saying to go buy. That's because these arrows on the outer band are counter trend. Okay, we're still in that crude trade. The arrows on the outer band are counter trend, typically, alright? If you're going to do something off the mid-band, that is usually going to be with the trend. You're usually going to see the trend be the right color when you take those mid-band trades. We're out of that now with 2 ticks. So I just wanted to point that out. I wouldn't have it up here, but what you can do, if you're going to use the trigger in this sense, the trigger is going to be, you're going to be taking trades with the trend, with the trigger. You can turn this on down here within the trigger. So that's got the color without having the color up here to throw you off. You have it down here, so if it's blue, you're probably going to be looking for long trades. Right? And if it's red, you're going to be looking for short trades more than likely. Okay? And you want to see the settings inside the TV Trades range trigger. These are the settings right here. So, okay, the white and the black is this one right here. If you shut that off, then it's just those colors. But if you turn that on, that turns into the white and the black. And you know what I said earlier about things that I've done in the past overlapping with things that I'm doing right now? This black and white down here, there's something to be said for that. And not having the black and white, just having the green and the red, there's something to be said for that as well. So I'll get into all that with you a little bit at a time. I don't want to throw all that at you right now. But for right now, all you're looking at down here is when it's coming out of the overbar, coming out of the oversold, in conjunction with it straddling the mid bands. Alright, that's when you're going to get these little arrows. I mean, those little bar colors like that. That's when you're going to get those bar colors. And if you wanted to do them when they don't actually straddle, but they're still in the right direction of the trend, you would turn this guy on right here. And that's going to turn it white. And you can change those colors right here. Bar color right here. Those are the bar colors for that. Right there. Okay. Alright. So, wow, I talked for 38 minutes about that stuff. I took one trade. And do I have crude oil on here? Yeah, the Wednesday totals, I do have crude oil. What column is crude in? I. So crude. We have 2 ticks in crude. And today this is our first session of this year. Woo! Alright. 1-7. Our first session of the year. And so far, 1-0. And this is the percent column that I still have to fix at some point. And this becomes a 35 now. Okay, so that's where we stand on today's session so far. Alright, so everybody with me on all that? Masood, did you see what you needed to see inside here? Did you want to see this side of it? This is what this side looks like. Alright, there are a lot of things in here. You know, when I first created TV trades, I did not want to have like more than 1 or 2 things inside the properties of these because it gets so convoluted and just looks so complicated. I originally just had the TV trades and it just had like 2 things in it. Just like 2 things up here. And I knew over time it was going to turn into like a million other things, but because you guys want other things. You ask for it. You literally ask for it. And I want to create it. But to apply the TV Trade Swing Bands, again, it just goes on with nothing else. Just the outer bands. Alright? And when you apply it, like Gary's saying he doesn't have it. No, wait, Masood, you said you didn't have it showing up in here in your indicators. I know you're set for it to be there. If it was ever there, it's going to be there now. There's something that's messed up on your end. But by default, it doesn't have the G line in it. Okay, that one fast line that moves up and down. And Jacob, this is the one that you were asking about. The G line. If I showed the G line, what I was saying was, if you stop out, if you're in a strong trend, and like this in here, if you're in a strong trend like this in here, and you stop out, usually if you wait for the next one that you take, if you're going to keep trading in that direction, I would say stop trading in that direction is what I would say. But if you stop out like this, the next one that you take in that direction, you want it to have it hook below that line and the band, like this one right here did. Okay, that's below that line and the band. Okay, that's what I was saying. Okay, well the white's going to be washed out, Gary. If you have a white background, it's going to be washed out. So you can change the color of the white. If you do the show Intra mid bands, and you come over here and change the color of the white right here to black or something. Then it's going to change all those ones that would be white to be black. Okay. Now you don't have to have that on. Just this one is fine. That's plenty. Right? I don't want you guys to trade 1,000 times. I want you to trade just enough to make the money that you want to make, and then stop trading. That's what I'd like to see you do. Okay, good. Jacob, I answered your question. Gary, that should fix it for you. Can you separate alerts that match each of the entry scenarios? I knew that was coming, Luigi. I can. I haven't yet. But I mean, like just setting it so you only have alerts on the outer bands, that's one thing. Then setting it so you have alerts on the midpoint bands, on the midpoint bars, that's another thing. Setting it so you have alerts on the intra bars, that's another thing. I can do all that, I just haven't yet. Okay? But I know you guys want that, so I will do it eventually. But I mean, I'm still, my task that I had before I started doing all the mid-band stuff, my task was to filter out those instances like this right here. You have multiple stop-outs in a row when you have a strong trend. That was when I discovered that the mid-band is usually a really great place to trade. When you have a strong trend like this, then there's opportunity that we're missing. And so I want to be able to take advantage of that opportunity. And I know, some of you guys may not even really think about these as being counter trend, because I don't usually take counter trend trades, right? I don't usually take counter trend trades. So you might not even really think about these being counter trend, but they are. And if you're not really a counter trend trader, then now you have something you can do off the mid bands. Okay. And this was just a trade here on the NQ. So the +8 on that. Okay, that was right here. The question was, how do I decide on the range bar number every day? Is there a criteria I look for? Okay, I'll answer that one in just a sec. There was a question right before that too. How do I determine when the trend is over? Like, let's say you don't take the next hook. When do you say it's safe to trade again? When it changes directions is when I look, because these. Now that question that Jacob just asked. Okay, hey Wayne. That question that Jacob just asked was directed more toward when you get in situations like this. Like if you stop out on the first one, when do you say you know it's okay to take another trade? Because like this one would have stopped you out too, but this one wouldn't have. And if you stop out on the first one and it appears that you're in a strong trend, like you stop out on the first one and you get a whole bunch of gray arrows without getting any gray arrows from the opposite direction, you're in a strong trend. You can just stop trading in that direction until you get to change of direction, and then start trading normally again. That is one alternative you can have. I mean, the other alternative you can have is just stop trading until you actually get a trade that works in that direction, and then start looking in that direction again if you want to. Remember that the arrows are in here. They're being triggered by what's going on basically with the price action and what's happened recently in the price action. And when you have these arrows, they're counter trend arrows. The ones that are outside the bands, those are counter trend arrows. And so they're searching for the end of the trend. But they don't always get it. If it's in a strong trend, it may look like it's at the end of the trend, but it isn't. And it isn't. And right here it was, but it wasn't the end of the trend. It was just a pullback position in the trend. And that moved down. And from within, right here, if I had the white turned on, you probably have a white arrow a white bar right here. The intra ones, if I turn those on, you probably have a white one right there. No, I had turned it black, but it would be a white one if I had left it. If I had left it white, I turned it black just to show Gary. But if I had left it white, then it'd be a white one right there. And what you heard me say earlier, if you have a white one with an arrow in the middle, those usually work out to be pretty good trades, right? If you have a white one with any arrow, really, they usually work out to be pretty good trades. But once you've had a stop out and you're in a strong trend, like you have a stop out and then you see all these gray arrows right here, I mean, you're in a strong trend. The gray arrows are happening. You're not getting a black because you're not getting a down close. Every one of these gray arrows right here was looking for a down close to give you the black arrow. And then you finally got the black arrow right here, but you're still in a really strong trend. There's no weakness in this at all. This is expanding the whole way right here. So, you're still in a strong trend. Even all the way up here, you're still in a strong trend. Okay. All right, good. Gary got it. Jacob, that was your answer. And Masood, the range bars. Now, I particularly have range bar sizes that I trade on the markets, on the different markets. Because of the volatility of the markets, I usually trade a different kind of range bar on each one. I take 8 ticks on that. I took 8 ticks on that. I gotta go put that in over here. Sorry. 8 and 2. But like the NQ, I like to trade a 19 range or bigger. You know, if the markets are really slow, like in the middle of the night, the markets are really slow, I'll trade something smaller, but there's usually a pretty good spread in there in the middle of the night too, so there's not much liquidity. But this was a nice trade right here. When you get, like I said, when you get a black arrow with the white like that, that means it's coming out of the overbought at the same time. That's usually a pretty good thing. Alright. And just this white right here by itself was a really nice trade right there. I didn't get that one. I didn't get that one. I got a little bit on that one. I didn't get that one. I wasn't really paying attention to anything up until right in here. And I got this one when it pulled back in here. That's why it doesn't look like it did much. And I got 8 ticks on it. But Masood, the range bars, I typically use certain range bars for certain markets. You know, and one of the questions that I got from Greg today was he gets why I use a 19 range on the NQ and why I use a 7 range on the ES. As far as the multiple of 4 minus 1 goes, right? Because when I'm looking to put a sell stop limit or a buy stop limit, for a 19 range it's 5 points is where you want to put the buy stop limit or sell stop limit. And for the ES it's 2 points where you want to put the buy stop limit or sell stop limit, because it's 4 ticks per point. That's why I do the 19 is 20 minus 1. 20 is a multiple of 4 minus 1. 7 is 8, multiple of 4 minus 1. But with these guys, because they are 10 based, it's 10 minus 1, right? So you look at this and you say it's 10 ticks from the top or the bottom of the bar. It's 10 from the top or bottom of the bar. That's easier to do the math. That's the only reason I do that, is so I can easily do the math, because I'm doing like a million things when I'm trading every day. I got like a million things going on, and even right now I have 5 markets going right now. I have all you guys in here asking me a whole bunch of questions, and I'm trying to put trades on when I see trades coming up. I'm trying to put trades on, and I'm trying to tell you about the trades as they're coming up. Like this over here, you have a gray arrow right here. This is oversold. It's in the blue. This is starting to roll right here on an up close right here. It'll probably, if it comes out of the oversold right here on an up close, it's going to give you a, if I have white on there, it'll be white. If I have it turned to white right there, it'll give you a white arrow. I mean a white bar. Do you want to trade that? Well, it's not really my ideal trade, because you can see the trend is weakening right here. You have lower highs right here. Lower highs. Didn't have any follow through on this one. So it's not going to be the ideal trade. You know, the thing that I like best are these ones right here, because they straddle the midpoint, the mid-band. They straddle the mid-band. Now, right here on the S, it's about to give us a black arrow. Alright, now I'd like to see it go up one more tick. I'm not sure the black arrow is going to be outside the band. It's not. It's right on top of the band. Okay, so I don't have the midpoints on here. I don't have the mid-band on there, so you can't see if that's going to be anything else. If I put the mid-bands on, then we'll see. Alright, so that would actually be right there, probably a white one. Yeah, it is a white one right there. That's what I was thinking. Alright, that's a lot of stuff. I feel like I've been talking non-stop. I guess I have been talking non-stop. On the range trigger, my upper and lower is 80 and 80. It might be 90 and 90, I think. 85 and 85. I don't know. Let me go look. Let me go and look at that. Range trigger style. It's on the style side, is that right? Yeah, 80 and 80. I'm pretty sure that's where it's at. 80, maybe 85. Maybe 85 minus 85. I don't really remember, to be honest. Jacob, how do you determine when to take the open of the next bar on a band trade and when to wait for a pullback? Well, it's up to you. You know, if you're trading the counter trend trades, if you're trading the black arrows that are outside the bands, well, you got to wait for it to get outside the band for that to happen. If it starts to set something like that up, like right here where you got this one and it didn't make it to the outer band, you know, if you get an opportunity to trade in the middle, then it's up to you if you want to take that trade in the middle. You know, it's up to you. You don't have to, but you can. Now, this one didn't give you a trade right here because the mid bands are red. If they were blue right here, you'd have had a purple bar right there. Okay. But this is still working on the white one right here. Now that white one, it's a 7 range, so that white one did actually go 7 ticks into profit, right? From the entry point, which should have been up here at 76 and a quarter, 76 and a quarter up there. Did actually go a little bit into profit. And now it's starting to go a little bit more. So what I would think it should do right here is get to the outer band. All right, it should get down here to this 971 is what it should do. Okay. You meant on the black arrow trades, do you wait for a pullback? And when do I wait for a pullback and when do I enter on the open of the next bar? Not sure what you mean on the black arrow trades. That was in here. On the black arrow trades, like this one right here. For instance, this is going to be a black arrow trade. Probably going to be a black arrow trade. If we get an up close. Right, if we get an up close on this bar right now on the NQ, it would be a black arrow trade. The difference between the white and the purple bars. The white bars straddle the mid band. I mean, the purple bars straddle the mid band. The white bars are in between the outer bands. There, that is the NQ right there. Right? The white bars do not straddle the mid band, but they're inside, within the mid band right here. Okay, they're within the mid band. They do not straddle the mid band, but the purple bars do straddle the mid band. They open on one side and close on the other, and it comes out of the either the overbought or oversold, whichever is appropriate. Shut that off. Okay. Masood, that was the answer to your question. Alright, so I took a little profit on that. I'm in the NQ right now. It's not looking so good. Here, I'm in the NQ. It's not looking so good. And let me go back here. Oops. No, not 65. 63. Okay. The NQ. I'm still in the NQ so far. It hasn't stopped me out yet. There, it just stopped me out. Okay, so now I'm not in the NQ anymore. And this becomes a minus 17. 4, 1. Okay. I took this NQ black arrow right here and it just stopped me out. Alright. Is what I'm showcasing today mainly for scalping futures can be applied to swing and stock trades? That's a good question, John. It can be applied to anything, and we have Frank, who trades on the Australian Stock Exchange. Let's just do this. Let me look at the email that he sent to me earlier. There was some symbol that he had in here. Frank, here you are. Best time to trade is between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. Australian time. Okay. I will do all of that, but I wanted to see the symbols that he has. Here's one, ASX. Let's just go look at that. Okay. ASX is the thing. It's on the Australian Stock Exchange. This guy right here. Okay. Now this one, Masood, this is an equity, right? It's a stock. And this goes to your question about what kind of range bars would you choose. Alright. In here, and this doesn't even have an indicator on it, so let's just throw that guy on there. And in here, you know, it's $50 a share, right? $50 a share. So see how much it moves around. This is on a 9 range, so every bar is 9 cents in here. It moves around quite a bit on a 9 range bar. Still not that much. You know, this is the beginning of yesterday to today on a 9 range bar, so it doesn't move around that much. It's not that volatile. But you can still throw the same thing on here. Okay, Yes, it's Australian Stock Exchange. I was just doing it for a guy that was asking me about it earlier. Jeff. He's not in here right now because it's 12 hours difference right now. But this is just one of the stocks that he was looking at. And you can see you can just throw it on anything you want. And here on a 9 range, let's just put on a 10 range. So every bar is 10 cents. Okay, you put it on a 10 range and every bar is 10 cents. And it's a $50 stock. So, if you have 1,000 shares of it and it goes 10 cents, then it's significant. But if it goes $1, it's significant. Or if it goes 20 cents, it's $200. Doesn't move around all that much, but that is how you would trade it. All right. So yes, John, you can do it on anything you want, and it doesn't have to be scalping. You can do it on larger time frames. Like, let's use something else that's something we would be looking at, maybe like Apple. It's $200 a share, and you do that on like 100 range. So every bar is $1. Okay, and it's all the same stuff. It's all the same stuff. Every bar is $1. So the maximum you would risk would be like $1, maybe $1.25 per share, and be looking for it to get from the entry point minimum to the outer band. Okay, that's what you'd be looking for. And if you throw the mid bands on here, you can call it whatever you want to call it. Whether you want to say it's scalping or not, it depends on the time frame that you're looking at. But all the same stuff still applies. Okay. And if you want to say if you want to call it not scalping, like Frank was saying, he wants to do larger time frames. He does it on daily and hourly. Well, on a $50 stock, you're trading daily and hourly. You're only going to have like 2 trades a month. So if that's what you want, I mean, you can do that. And it'll still work. Here's the daily on Apple. And so there was a trade back here, beginning of December, and there was a trade back here in September, and a trade back here in July, and a trade here in August. I mean, all of them worked, but you're just not going to have a ton of them. Okay. So you can trade it on whatever you want. I said at the beginning, I don't know if you heard me say at the beginning, that there is one fellow that sent me an email earlier today. Let me go and see if I can find that email. Here it was, right here. The bands work great on the XAU USD 2500 range during the Asia session, is what he said. XAU USD 2500 range. So, there's people using these things on all different instruments, all different time frames, and they work on everything. Okay. Alright, so I think I'm pretty much caught up. Wayne said the ES just had a nice short on the 7 range with a white bar and a black arrow. But this one right here with the white bar. Yeah, that one right there. I took some of that. I think I got 4 ticks on that. And I have the crude oil going over here, but the crude oil is it is painfully slow right now. Okay, now I didn't put anything on this one over here on the gold. If we just throw it on the gold on the 9 range, we'll see if we have any trades going over there. There was one right there, but if we turn on the mid bands on that, remember you got to turn the mid bands on. And if you want the G line, the fast line, you got to turn that on too. I took it off by default, but if you want it on, you just got to check that box and turn it on. As far as alerts go, Joe B contacted me over the weekend, and he was having trouble with an alert not firing. And I think what he had forgotten to do is you got to turn it on in here as well, right? If you want to see the alerts, you got to turn them on in here, right? Turn them on there, and then come here to the indicator, and you can add the alert to the system in here. Okay. Whichever alert you want, or if you want to do any alert function call. But that's how you do the alerts. Okay, in the message box, type in whatever message you want, notification, how you want to be notified, do all that stuff, set up the alerts. Okay. Alright, so we're about to have a black arrow here on the NQ, a black arrow long. Now, let's look at this. See this last one right here, Jacob? This last one right here didn't go, right? I got 4 ticks on it because I entered one on a pullback. That's something else that you could consider, entering on a pullback like this one right here. So you get a better entry point, or just skip it all together and wait for the next one. All right, if you'd have done this right here, if you'd done that short on the purple arrow, the purple bar right there, you'd have been way up on that move right there. Okay, just pointing that out. All right. 12 ticks. Get it all, get it all. It's almost there. Oh, I thought it went up above it. Alright. 24 ticks, I think that was. And it just turned around right here and gave a short. Interesting, isn't it? Now this right here is a white bar short. Now the reason it's white is because these are red, and it didn't hit the mid bands. Yeah, it didn't hit the mid bands. So this should go down here to the outer band right now, is what it should do. It's not a black arrow short because it's not from outside the band, right? Let's go put that last trade in here. We're positive on that now by 7 ticks. And this becomes a 5. Okay. And that white one right now. So I just pretty much reversed it there from 53. I got up to 58, but or something like that. But we're in right now, 53. That's 16 ticks there. 20. 24. Now it should go all the way down here to 40 and a quarter. But we're out with another 24 on that. Okay, so that's now 31. And 6. And we're not even getting to the active trading part yet. We still have another 10-15 minutes before we get to the active trading part. But you see what it did right there? It went right down to the outer band. You see that? And Bobby said the white bar on the ES was a pullback to that other thing. Yeah, that other thing, the math, what I was saying earlier, Bobby, is all the things that I've made in the past, the math, I'm always trying to get to the same point. I'm always trying to get you to the easiest way to find out where the swing high and swing low is going to be for you to take the trade. So there's going to be a lot of things that overlap mathematically, even though I'm coming at it from a whole bunch of different ways. Like the number 12, you can get to that number probably 50 different ways using the numbers between 0 and 30. You can probably get to the number 12 50 different ways, right? And at least 50. If you use every kind of mathematical equation there is, at least 50. And so I'm trying to figure out the best and simplest way for you guys to be at these points right here, like this point right here, to be able to take that trade right there, to be able to take that trade right there, or that trade right there, when it's at the swing high or the swing low, when it's at the pivot. That's what I'm trying to do. Okay, so like this right here on the NQ. Now, the black arrow is outside the band, so it is a trade, and I was on it. It just gave me 4 ticks. I can show you the print if you want. But it just gave me 4 ticks. Alright, let me see if I have that print. Actually, it didn't give me 4 ticks. It slipped me 4 ticks. It gave me no ticks. I'll show you that print. Here it is, right here. Oops. Right there. It gave me a break even. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to show you. So you can have this down here. You don't need to actually have this down here, but it'll help you see when things are happening, when they're coming. You'll be able to have a better idea of when things are going to trigger. Okay, Like, you know, if you're above this and this bar is looking like it's going to close back down below it. The reason this didn't turn purple is because the open was not above it. Okay, that's why that one didn't turn purple. If the open's above and the close is below, it straddles the mid bands and it comes out of the overbought or oversold. That's when you're going to get your purple. Okay. So I got to break even on that last one, right? Just add that to the count right here. So we're at $2,150 right now, and our average is 4,100. So we still have well, 12 minutes. Is that right? 22 minutes. We still have 22 minutes left. There's plenty of trading left in here. Okay, even if we only traded the NQ, I would bet there's going to be plenty of trading left in here. Alright, is everybody with me on this? Did anybody ask any questions that I didn't answer? There's a whole bunch of questions in here, and I want to make sure I get everybody's questions answered. If you asked a question and I didn't answer it, just copy and paste it in again, okay? Just copy and paste it in again. Alright, see right here, we're not above the midpoint, so down close is going to pull this out of the overbought, but it's not going to give us any kind of a color in here. Okay, the purple is going to happen right now. When you have the red midband, the purple is going to happen when you open above it and you close below it. And it comes out of the overbought. Okay, now the black arrows still work great. They, you know, I found the midband stuff mainly when I was trying to stop, or trying to find a way to prevent having multiple stop outs in a row in a strong trend. I'm using a counter trend trade. So, where is the setting to turn on the white? Blake, it is one thing. It's one little checkbox right here. This one right here. Intra midbands. Okay. And again, if you have a white background, you're not going to see the white, and you change that right here. Bar color. I'll change the name on that. And, you know, I wanted to get something out to you guys because I've been telling you about it for, you know, a couple of weeks, and I really put a lot of work into this over the time in the holidays that I had, where I wasn't trading and stuff like that. I wasn't doing the morning session every day and all that. I had a lot of time to work on things. See how far up that is? So a down close right here might pull you out of the overbought, but it's not going to give you any kind of a thing. Now, if it does it right now, it'll give you a white, probably. Alright, it'll give you a white. Now, you don't have any gray arrow in here, so you're not going to get a black arrow. So it'll just be a white bar, I think. There's a couple other things. Now you have a gray arrow. So now you might have a black arrow here with a white bar as well. That's on the NQ. Gotta find my NQ down. Here it is. It didn't give you the white arrow, but it did give you it didn't give you the white bar, but it did give you the black arrow. And that just went to +4, and it just took me out at +4. Okay, so that was another one. We'll go here to Wednesday totals. Now 35. And this is an 8. So 87% of our trades are break even or better that I've taken in this session. You're welcome, Wayne. But you know I'm doing it for me. And you guys, I mean, it's great that it works out for all of us. But this is going to be a purple arrow right here on an up close. Okay. See that? I'm purple arrow, purple bar. Because it straddled the midband. The midband was blue and it came out of the oversold. So that is a trade right there. Right? Now, it's counter to this trade, but this was a counter trend trade to begin with. Makes sense. So the crude oil trade that happened a little while ago. I don't know where the heck that was. Happened a little while ago. So it's still going. This one right here, the purple arrow. Well, I was going to try to move it to more than 4, but it took me out with 4. This white white one on crude. I think it was this right here. I don't know what the heck it was. But it's still going right now. It's been dragging on forever. I forgot I even had that on. It's at +2. Yeah, I think it was right here. Yeah, it was right here at 56.18. So it pulled all the way back down there without stopping me out. And now it's moved up to +2. It still hasn't gone enough to get the stop to break even. It's got to go 5 ticks in a profit to get the stop to break even. It still hasn't done that. So I'm just going to hit the break even on that right now because those markets just about closed. Yep, move stop to break even. I'll just lock in 1 there. So we'll go back here to the Wednesday totals. This we got 4 more on, and that means this turns into a 9. And the crude oil, that one little crude oil thing is still going there. I'll keep you updated on that. I totally forgot I had that on. It was buried by my chat box. So a down close on this right here, right now, might turn this into a white bar right here. There's this white bar back here that I didn't do on the ES, but it might turn this into a white bar with possibly a black arrow. Those usually work out really well. Just saying. And the apple, I'm going to change the apple. What was that? The apple was the YM for me. Okay. And you see how they changed this around in TradingView? This drop down that used to be on this side, it's on this side now. So we're in the H contract, and we're going to put that back on a 9 range. So it's going to be up too bad. That crude oil is starting to move a little bit more now. I'm going to lock in 2 ticks on that. Yeah, just lock in 3. And I'll probably end up with 3. This is a trade right here. That's what I was talking about on the ES a minute ago. The black arrow with the white bar. That's what it was looking like it was going to give us right here, because the mid-bands were red. And we're getting a down close without touching the mid-band, but it was in between. Intra mid-band. It was in between. And so I just jumped on that. And here that one is. That stop just went to break even, I think. It did. Look at 1 tick. Alright, so I'm out of that with 1. I think that's going to go down here. But just, that was the ES. It's our first ES trade in this session. Why is that? Is that right? What is that? Month total, that's not right. Which one is ES? Oh, this is ES. Right here. 1. I know I took an ES trade earlier and I got 4 ticks on it. At the beginning. I'll just leave this here as 1 though, but I'm almost sure I took an ES trade earlier that I got 4 ticks on. And the crude is going up even more right now. Lock in 5 on that. That's $500. But I'll just leave that as 1. Make that a 10. And back in here. That's this one right here that I just got 1 tick on. And there was a trade that I took earlier on the crude. I mean on the ES. I think it was this one right here that I took on the ES earlier at the beginning of the session. That I got 4 ticks on. I just won't count that, but I did. I think I can go find the print on it. I don't really feel like wasting time doing that though. Let's see. ENEP. EP. Maybe I didn't. Maybe it wasn't this session at all. Huh. Interesting. Okay, well I don't see the print, so I mustn't have done that. How can you see the white arrow on the white background? You can't. You gotta go change it, Sharon. Right, the crude oil is still moving up. I'm gonna go to 6 ticks on that now. Every tick is $100 with the crude right now. The NQ has a white bar right there. It's not too late to get into if you want to get into it. Sharon, what I was saying is inside the TVT Swing Bands you go to Style and you change it right here. Bar color. I'll put a more descriptive name on that. Alright, you change it right here. You've changed it to black. That was this one right here, I guess. No, it's not. I don't know what it was. That's where you change it, right there. What chart am I on? Oh, it was this one right here that you couldn't see. Okay, so if I move that over and I change it right here to black, there. So you can change it to purple or blue, whatever you want. It's white by default. Okay, that's where you change it. Do I have that in Qtrade on? I believe I do. Do I? No, I don't. I didn't get filled on it. Okay. Yeah, I didn't get filled. My position is 0. Okay. That was one I tried to put on, but I didn't fill. And that crude is still going up. I'm going to go to 7 ticks on that now. I'm just going to get out with 7. Okay, so the crude. This is a 13 now. And this becomes an 11. Okay. 1 ES, 13 crude, 39 NQ. And now we have 12 minutes left. Okay. So this crude was a black arrow with a white right there. Those usually work out really well. Okay, and the black arrows from the outer bands usually work out really well. But now you have an opportunity to do the black arrows from the inner bands too. Can I share my crude chart in a layout that you can have at the same time? I can share it with you, but you have to have premium. If you want to do all 5 like this, you have to have premium. Okay, why don't I save this as something else? Let me just save this and I'll make a copy of this. Make a copy of this and we'll call it, what is today? Jan 7 TVT layout. There. I'll make a copy of it and I can share it out to you. Okay, share it. And here is the link to it. So if you have premium, you'll be able to open this. Okay. There's the link to it. I'm going to go back to the other one though. Alright, go back to this one that I was working on. Can I share my DOMs too? Sid, I did share my DOMs to you guys, but the DOMs are Sierra charts. They're not the same. Okay, but I did that at the beginning. It's out in Telegram. I'll show you where it is in Telegram. Okay. If you go to this channel, the TV Trades channel, this one right here in Telegram, go to that channel, and in here I have my chart book is in here, somewhere in here. This is my chart book. Alright, and these are the brackets that I have in my chart book that are preset for you. This is the actual chart book. That will open up the DOMs inside the chart book. And I have one skid file in here down at the bottom. The skid file is my NQ file. Now, whenever I loaded that up, I think it was yesterday at some point, maybe the day before yesterday at some point, I loaded that up. It has some NQ data in it. Okay, but that's how you would get to my DOMs. Load up this chart book. Go out to the TV Trades channel in Telegram. And this is a channel that all you guys, this is an open channel. Anybody can go into this. Alright, it's an open to the public channel. I'm the only one who can put stuff in it and write in it, but you can go and grab stuff out of it anytime. Okay. Whether you're subscribed or not, you can still go out there and use the information that I put out there. Okay. Well, you don't really have to understand the skid. You know, the DOMs themselves, the DOMs themselves are well, they're the way the DOMs are set up. You know, I have it set up so that if you right mouse click, you can go in here and you use these things. You do everything with a mouse click, so you don't really need any buttons anywhere. If I were to left click right here, it would be a market order right here at 56. Well, it'd be a limit order right here at 56.25. Sorry, it'd be a limit order at the best bid. If I were to left click here, and if I were to left click here, it'd be a limit order at the best ask right there at 56.24. If I right click in here, it would be a buy stop limit. If I right click down here, it'd be a sell stop limit. Okay, and the brackets are all preset on that. The brackets are out there in that Telegram channel. Okay. Yes, Jacob, the recording of this session will go out to everybody that's in here, or everybody that even signed up, even if you're not in here. All you had to do was sign up and you'll still get a recording of this sent to you. Okay? You will still get a recording sent to you, even if you just signed up. It'll be in GoToWebinar, we'll email it out to you, and there'll also be an email that goes out afterward that's got a link to it. It's got a little description of it. This is also going to be it'll be put on YouTube too. You know, all the things that I do, almost everything that I do, I record, and it goes on to YouTube. Let's see what we have here for you. YouTube.com. Yeah, that's not the one that I want. YouTube.com, and let's just see what comes up when I do that. It's a kind of crazy thing I get in here. And we'll go to home, my videos right here. So all the things that I do end up on YouTube. Okay? All these recordings in here on YouTube, there's a couple hundred of them now. They'll be out here too. Right, so this meeting is going to be here on YouTube. It'll be the next one at the top here. But all the ones that have been emailed to you in the past week are all right here. And so you can all go and watch that at any time. They're also stuck out here. This is the playlist for YouTube, so it's going to have the latest YouTube channel here. If you go to targetviewtrades.com, it'll have the latest YouTube channel right here. Latest YouTube video will be right here, as long as I remember to put it in the playlist. And next week's meeting link will be right here. It's not here right now, but it will be here later. You know, the one for 114 will be right here. You'll be able to sign up for next week's meeting right there. All of the past webinars, if you click on this, they're right here. Okay, and those are also in YouTube. Okay, so you'll have access to this later. So you don't really need to understand the SCID file that much. It's going to create it for you when you load data in it. Okay, if you were to go out right now, if you set everything up and you were to go out, this is going to be a trade right here on the ES, I think. And I thought I took something here on the YM. I have to go and look. Let me see. YM. I did. I got one tick on the YM. Yeah, it had bumped my stop to plus a tick and took me out. I'll show you this. I'll show you the print in just a sec. Here's the YM, 39 to 40. Okay. So I guess if we go here, that's one more trade. Which one is the YM? That guy right there. YM 1, 12. All right, so we're still not at our average yet. We're at 3,400, but if I focus here for a minute or two, we should have some trades coming up right now. There should be one coming up over here on gold. There should be one coming up right here on the ES. There's going to be one coming up over here on the NQ. There's going to be one here on crude. I'm not going to trade the crude one though. Okay, is there a way to revert back to the previous version of any indicator? If you don't save your layout, previous version of an indicator, previous version of a layout, Paul. What market is that? That is, darn it. No. Once you've done the upgrade and you've saved it, you know, like if you clicked on the swing bands and you did the upgrade and you saved it, then it's going to be upgraded all the time from then on. Okay, but if you don't save your layout, if you don't save your NQ's got a trade here. If you don't save your layout, just give me 4 ticks. If you don't save your layout, then it'll keep the old ones on there. Like right now, if you already did the upgrade on this, but you didn't save it, And just go up here and switch to a different layout and then switch back. But when you switch to a different layout, say cancel. I mean, don't save the trade, don't save the changes. That's one way to do it. Okay, if you're not ready to use the new updates. And I mean, if you don't want to use the new updates, all it was is, let me take this off. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Let's take this off. If you just put it on right now, and this is what it looked like before, except it doesn't have the G line in it. So you just have to turn this one thing on, and then it'll be just like it was before. Alright, and if you want to have the repainting, then you just have to check the repainting. And then it'll be just like it was before. That's just like it was before right there. Okay. The ES had a trade. The crude oil had a trade. The NQ had a short in there. I thought I had a long too. Did I get? I got 4 ticks on the long right there, right? I didn't put that in. I don't think I put that in. Did I put that in? You guys remember? I don't think I updated that because we're still at 34.25. So that should be 43, and this should be 13. I think. Let me check my thing here and see. I did get 4 ticks. I did get 4 ticks, and I did not put it in. I can show you the print. Here it is. Right here. 25 half down to 24 half. Okay. So, said all that. The crude oil, we could just stop trading crude now because that's just not going to move anymore. I'm just going to put that one aside. And this was a long trade here on the ES. I don't believe I have that going. I do not. And I don't think I put it on either. Did I? No. Last thing I put on was the NQ. Alright, Nilesh, where do you go? How do you go to where my work is on YouTube? Let's see, there's a way to share this in here somewhere. My channel. View my channel on YouTube. Here it is. You go to YouTube, youtube.com, do @targetview_trades, like that. I think that'll get you there. Okay, I'm pretty sure that'll get you there. This is it right here. youtube.com @targetview_trades. Copy. I'll put this out here for you. Okay, try that and make sure it goes there. Okay, because all the videos that I do end up out here. Okay, 23 hours ago. And this one will be out here too, later today. You know, what time is it right now? It's 4 o'clock. This one will be out here within an hour. This one will be out here. Let's get back in here and see if we have any more trades in here. What? Right at the last moment here. The gold's just about got a short. Okay, so you can get ready. The gold does have a short. Now, that is... I don't believe I have the mid-band stuff turned on in here. Oops, let me shut that off and turn that on. And it didn't give the white on it, but I don't think I have it turned on. But it should be, I think. Yeah, if I do the intra bars. There it is. Okay. Whoa. Minimize that thing. I don't know how that got over there. But alright, so the gold is, I'm going to go to break even on it. Alright, it wasn't bumping automatically because it has to go 5 ticks, but we were out of time, so I'll just take that 1 tick there on my last trade. I'll call that the last trade. Let's go here, Wednesday totals, gold. We have one more. I think that's the gold right there. Nope, the gold is right here. One tick on gold. 14 trades total. Alright, well that looks like how we're going to wrap it up, guys. So it's been a pretty active session. Lots of trades, lots of stuff to show you. Now that's the white candle. What is the white candle? The white candle is one that shows up. It's an intra-band candle. Okay, whereas the purple ones straddle like that. When it comes out of the overbought, oversold, they straddle. The white is in between the mid-band and the outer band when it comes out of the overbought or oversold. To turn that on or off, it's off by default, but it's this one right here, show intra mid-band bars. Okay. And if you have a white background, then you just go to style and change it right here to a different color. Okay. You are welcome. Mark, how do you get the Telegram channel that shows the Sierra stuff? I will give you a link to that right now. Let me go out there again. I go here and I do share, manage channel, share, invite link, copy link, done, cancel. That link is right here, Mark. I'll place that there. Everybody can join that. That is open to the public. So you can all join that channel in Telegram if you want to. Okay. And yeah. So I think that's going to be it. I haven't said this from the beginning. I haven't said this. If you haven't taken the free trial and you want to, go to tvtrades.com. tvtrades.com. Click on any one of these orange things. It'll bring you down to the bottom. It's $25 a week, or $90 a month, or $9.97 a year. I don't know. Luigi, I don't know how you got that $8.97 a year yesterday. I thought they had changed this everywhere. But the $9.97 a year. Send you the link for the Telegram channel. You are having a hard time finding it. I just stuck it out, Jill, in the thing. I'll stick it out here in the chat box again, in the other chat box. Okay. There, I just stuck it there for you. And you know what? I'm not sure if you're still in here. I think you are. But there you are. It says you're in here still. Alright, but I will still send it to you, okay? Here, I'll stick it out here again. Paste one more time there. Send to all. Alright, so this is how you take the free trial if you haven't taken the free trial. This webinar will be emailed to, okay, you got it, good Joe. This email will be sent to everybody. I mean, this webinar, the video, the recording of this webinar will be sent to everyone through email, and it's also out here on the YouTube. If you go to YouTube, youtube.com/@targetviewtrades, you get into that channel. It'll be out here too, and all the things that I've done are out there. And yeah, so that's gonna be it. You can sign up for next week's in a little while. You can't do it right now, but in a little while, you'll be able to sign up for next week's meeting right here. If you go to targetviewtrades.com, you'll be able to sign up for it right here. All right, just click on that guy, and you'll be able to sign up for next week's. It'll also be in the email. So you'll have plenty of opportunity to get into, to sign up for the next week's stuff and all that. But I think this is all pretty cool. I was pretty excited about this. I'm really excited about all of it, because this is just making it so easy for you guys to just get in there and take some money out of it and be done with it. You know, the black arrows, the thing that I'm trying to fix is when you have a strong trend, to not give you a black arrow when you have a strong trend. It's kind of hard to do that and not take out all the other ones, because like this is a pretty strong trend right here, and that would be removed if I said, you know, if I want to do like this here, which is just as strong as that. This is probably even a little weaker than that one right there. But I end up removing that while I remove that. So it's hard to get the right balance. But now that we have all the mid-band trades in there, it might be easier for me to remove those, because it'll remove a whole bunch of the outer band ones if I base it on slope and rate of change and things like that. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. Thank you all for coming today. I'm going to stop the recording right here. Okay, thank you all for coming again. If you haven't taken the trial, go to tv-trades.com and sign up for the trial there.